Good morning, welcome to Tristar Digging. I appreciate you joining us today. It is a beautiful morning this morning. Had 2 days of solid rain this weekend, and now it's Monday morning, so it's nice. But it is a little bit chilly this morning. And I got hopefully an interesting video for you today. It's a little different from what we normally do. I've got several jobs to go bid, estimate, kind of get an idea for folks what it costs to do the work. And we'll go take a look at those, and some of them we'll be able to take the drone up and kind of fly over the project with the drone and get an idea from the air what it looks like. Some of it's road build, well, a couple of them's road build jobs and driveways and clearing off place for a house site. Doing some land clearing and some brush cleanup, and I think there's another house site prep. So let's get this trailer off the truck and let's go see what we got. Well, Diesel's decided he's going to chase cows this morning. Diesel! That is a smart dog. I don't even have to say it loudly. I'll call his name one time, and he's off those cows coming back. Diesel! Here! Well, maybe twice. Here. You better leave them cows alone. You better leave them cows alone. Hey, Luke. I've shown this trailer a few times before on the channel. It's a Diamond C, 35-foot long deck, and it's got electric over hydraulic dovetail that you raise up. You just simply push a button, and it'll raise that ramp up and put it back in the transport position, and it kind of locks itself back into place. I think that's rated to lift 10,000 pounds. I don't think it's going to do that way out there on the end, but I think if it's centered in the port, in the middle of it, I think that's probably what it's rated for. But you can put a machine on the end of that and raise it up and put it in transport position. So you do that, and then it's got electric over hydraulic jacks as well. But to do that, you got to go into here and flip this little lever around. That's a diverter. It stops putting fluid to the back and puts it to the front. Same thing again, you simply push the button and it'll lower those jacks down and raise the trailer up off the truck. And I love it. It makes getting ready to go and unhooking a whole lot faster and a lot less cranking. Trying to crank those jacks up. Let's go. Looks like we're getting close to this first job site we're going to look at. This is a road build. They've got a little bit of a trail cleared out, they said, and kind of got some trees cut. So this is it. We're pulling up to here on the right. So let's get out and take a look at this, see what we got. This is a 6-acre tract of property, and they say it's flagged as far as where they want the road to go, and they do have it cleared out. So we'll take a look at this as we walk in and see what we see. So far, not a big deal. Just a normal culvert here at the beginning, like that one. Looks like it's an 18-inch culvert for that driveway there. Same thing will go here, and it really just depends on how wide they want this driveway and how much they want cleared. Obviously, the more trees you get out of the way, the better you can build a driveway. But some people just really want a path through there, and other people want a really nice driveway. And this is I can tell this is already an existing driveway, I guess, or maybe not a driveway, a logging road maybe, because there's not really any stumps in this of any size in this part. The ground is really wet though, especially places like this. These places are a challenge because they hold water, and that is just a pure old mud hole. But it wouldn't take much to get a little bit of a ditch here and get that water draining away from it. But underneath that is going to be a soupy mess. And matter of fact, that might even be a spring because that's clear water standing and running in that a little bit. So that might be a spring head. If it is, that presents a different challenge. This is heading up into, looks like they've got this trail cut right through a water drainage area. It would take some work to get across. Something like this, obviously water's coming down that little draw on this one over here. So what we'd have to do is, as we build this up to build a road, we'd have to have some clay in here from somewhere and put a culvert in so that the water doesn't run across the road. The water would run through a culvert over here to the other side, and then ditches fixed to keep the water off the road. And there's something a little bit concerning too that you want to look for when you're estimating a job. Look at that, big old limestone rock. That might just be loose laying there, but then it might be connected to a solid rock shelf underneath there. So when you start seeing stuff like that, that's a kind of a red flag. Nothing that can't be dealt with, but it's just something you want to look at when you're bidding a job. And they said it was flagged back here to this area, so this is where they've stopped as far as cutting their trees. One thing that makes a job like this a little bit more difficult, and I know they want to get in here and clear the trees and see what they've got, kind of start a road, but that stump right there is probably 5 times harder to get out than it would be if the tree was standing. And so there's several of those stumps in there. So if you're trying to clear out property and you want somebody to come in and build a road or clear it out, it's really better for the excavator to grab the trees with an excavator or dozer or whatever and get those out of the ground rather than dealing with stumps. Saves you money because stumps are a whole lot harder to deal with than standing trees. But too, I understand that folks want to clear the property and take a look at it. So I'm not telling you not to do it. I'm just saying for efficiency and for money ahead, it's better just let the excavator yank those trees out. So this must be what she was talking about, that she had it marked to this area right here. So let me look around here just for a minute. This may be the last marking she has. I moved over a little bit where I was standing just a second ago and said that the markings ended was right over there. But I have come across a pretty cool little rock feature in here. You know, I mentioned those rocks sticking out of the ground was a sign. Well, I'll show you what I found here. This is pretty neat. I'm not sure if this is on their property or not. I need to check and see with the mapping. But I guess this has been a campsite and some steps going down to this. Pretty cool. Pretty cool little campsite. And this is really the head of that wet weather spring I showed you down there just a minute ago. We'd have to build a tile across. And this may be on their property because they've done some clearing in here as well. Look how that water comes down through and channels through that rock. This would be a good place for a timber rattler or a copperhead to be, but it's a little too cold this morning for that. All right, chasing rabbits there for a minute. But look at their steps they've built. They come down through here. And a handrail. I just now noticed the handrail. Look at the vine they used to wrap the handrail with. That's pretty cool. Actually, they'd been a tree over. It's down there. They've been a tree over, tied it right here for the handrail. Pretty smart thinking. Well, that was a butterfly we chased for a minute. Let's get back over here to looking at the road again. Let me do a little bit more thinking and I'll be back. Okay, I'm back where I got distracted from now, and that's as far as they had cleared, and their property is just a rectangle that goes straight back. So that rock feature was on them, and I'm just gonna walk back through here just a little bit farther to see if I can find the home site. It's supposed to be up here on a little, like a little top of a ridge, actually. And there's definitely a little trail that they've been using to get up to here. And I'm starting to see some more markings too. So we're running really up along a ridge right here That's getting kind of narrow. There's a pretty steep little ravine off in there that would stay up on top of this little hill though with the road. Here's the top end of that ravine, and that's pretty steep down through there. That's probably 30 feet, 40 feet to the bottom, that hole right there. Pretty good ways down through there. Oh, along with being out of breath, I've walked a pretty good ways up through here now, and got a pink ribbon here. And there looks like there's a clearing up there. I'm gonna walk up to that clearing and take a look at that. But I also found something else interesting. If you look in that tree right there, there's a balloon. And I've heard other excavators talking about on a lot of their clearing projects finding balloons in trees and stuff that have been let go. So that's exactly what that is. And it's pretty neat to see that. We'll walk on up through here. And there's another guy on YouTube that I watch. He talks about finding spoons all the time on projects. And I don't know that I've ever found a spoon. And I have seen a few of those balloons, but most of what I find is almost always find a golf ball. When you start digging, clearing the land and brush, there'll be a golf ball or two pop up. Let's walk on up here to this clearing and see if this is on their property or somebody else's property. We popped out on this other cleared property here, and this is actually her dad's property. I know that because I did the work here. I cleared all this area off here, and also just on the other side of this little overgrown place, that was all grown up on the side of that hill. And I cleared all that off and pushed all this in. So I'm at the back side of her property and the start of her dad's property. I'll get back in the woods here and take a look around. I'll meet you back at the road. I came back in, and I really like it when people do a good job of labeling their property. If you look at that, that's got a date on there of 6/22/22, number 4. And the reason I like that is because she also sent me a map of the property showing these little draws. If you look right there in the center of the screen, there's a big red number 4 right there. So that tells me that where I'm standing on this map is where she's got this flag labeled as number 4. So that is pretty good. And now I'm going to walk back out, take a closer look on the way back out how this lays, and we'll get back out the road. Made it back out down here to the road where my truck's parked at, and the way that I went was that way. But I did see this on the way in, and I want to look at this now to see what this is. But I was following the flags when I went in, the area she had marked. This is a little off-cut area here that they've cleared some trees and like a little driveway into here, but there's a big spot cleared out. Not real sure what they have in mind for this, if it's something that'd be part of the job or not. But it's just a big round area. I don't know, it might be a camping spot or something they're planning. We'll get clarity on that and figure it out. I'm gonna go back out here to the truck and get the drone set up. I'm gonna fly this with the drone and get an idea how much the distance it is between the road and back there where the house site's gonna be and how long the road's gonna be. So this is the kind of job that I absolutely love to do. Land clearing and road building. So I'll have to kind of project how many days it's going to take to do that, get it cleared first, and then actually build the road. Let's get this drone set up and we'll fly back there and see what it looks like. Let's take a look at this drone, and occasionally I get a comment or a question about what drone I use and do I like it and would I use something else. This is the only drone, well, this ain't the only drone I've used. This is the 4th drone that I've used because I destroyed the previous 3 because I am not very good at flying these things, but I do like it. This is a DJI Mavic Mini 2, and it's got the weight on it, 249 grams, which basically means this is a drone that can be flown without a license, the way I understand it, and because of the weight of it. And so this is what I use. It's got a little remote to use here. So you just simply put your phone in it, Apple or Android phones, and you plug it in like that. You turn the controller on, one short press and a long press, and then it will automatically pull the app up on your phone. Sometimes it takes a minute. I just go ahead and manually do that. So it pulls the app up on your phone like that. So we'll get a battery put in it and a SD card to record the video, and we're going to go flying. This is a pretty user-friendly little drone, and I like it because it's easy to fly, and it does really good. It takes good video, and the way you've seen it on the channel, it does a really fine job. So once you get the battery in it and the SD card set up, you just got to kind of let it set and do its thing. It'll find this GPS satellites that it needs to fly, and then in a minute here it will tell us, because right now it says take off with caution, no GPS. So once it finds itself where it's at in the world, it'll let me know ready to fly. While it's doing that, I want to mention another channel that I've come across, and the name of that channel is Too Poor to Farm. The guy's name is Remington, and he's got an interesting channel there. It's a new channel, a fairly new channel. He's got several videos on there. One thing I like about Remy's videos is his off-the-cuff sense of humor. You never know what he's going to say and when he's going to say it. It's just off the cuff, and I enjoy that. I get a good laugh out of a lot of things he says on there. One of the videos he did was repairing his truck tailgate with his skid steer. I watched every single minute of that video because I didn't know what was going to happen next, the way that he was doing that. I enjoy his channel, and he, just like the rest of us, he's trying to grow his channel to build an audience, getting subscribers and likes and comments. So go over and check him out, see if it's a channel that you like and something that you'd be interested in. Oh, also, something that's funny that I found on his channel is that these things right here, these are called, and this is the microphone that I'm using. I'm about to lose my magnet. There it is. This is the DJI mic that I'm using, and you've seen that before. And on the GoPro itself, we put these little things on there called dead cats. They're little fuzzy things that go on there. This one actually kind of screws onto the top. But I've also got these on the GoPro itself, and so Remy has made himself a homemade dead cat out of a piece of foam and rubber bands around his GoPro. And occasionally, every once in a while, you get a glimpse of that homemade dead cat on his GoPro. And I just think that's hilarious, how people come up with things like that, and it's effective and it works. So anyway, check it out. It's a good channel. All right, we are ready to fly now, and the way that you take this thing off is you simply press that button right there, press and hold that, and the drone will lift off and go to a certain height like that right there and hover. Something neat about this drone, it'll do, it's got sensors on the bottom of it, and when I move my hand up to the bottom of that drone, you'll see it move because it senses something underneath it. So it just kind of takes off there when it notices that. So I'll bring it back down and do that again. There are drones that have sensors all the way around it. This one just has it under the bottom. So I'm going to shut the GoPro off for now, and we're going to take a little flight, and we'll get this one knocked out, and then we're going to go look at something else. Okay, we got the drone safely back down on the ground and in the bag, so that's a plus. Let's go look at another one. I'll put in a bid price for this job, and we'll see if we get it. All right, we are pulling into the next location, and it is called Camp Agape. This is a Christian youth camp for folks to come to, and it's operated and run by the Polk County Baptist Association. So it's a collective church cooperation program here that runs this camp, and we're going to meet with the camp host, Jeff. And the problem that's going on here is the roads are in really bad shape. They've been, I wouldn't say neglected, they've just, over the years, they just haven't receive the attention they needed because of the work that needs to be done to them. But we are going to meet with Jeff and take a look at these roads and figure out what we can do to help. All right, I've made it into the camp here, Camp Agape, and I'm meeting with Jeff. Jeff is the camp director here. And we've just been initially going over some of these bad areas of the road. And it's not hard to, it's not hard to tell why I'm here. I've got some bad washed out areas right there. Before we get into that, and really what we're going to do is a solution to fix some of these roads, we'll talk to Jeff and kind of get an idea of what the mission of the camp is and who they serve and what the camp's about.
All right, hey, I'm Jeff, the camp director. The campus here, we're owned by the Polk County Baptist Association, so we're really here to minister to people, and as the name implies, Camp Agape, we're here to show the love of Christ to the community and to those who come here. So we are a resort hotel / mission retreat home for people that come and do mission work. They'll come and stay here with us and then do missions either here or somewhere in the community, or they will also come and just stay here and they'll do like a youth camp or a day camp for kids. We have a lake, and so people love to come and fish at the lake, and we have a lot of amenities here, and we're working on making everything better. That's why Sam is here. So
what area do you serve? Can anybody come here from a church camp from any area of the country, so to say? Or?
That's right. Anybody can come here, and they don't even have to be from a church. It could be a business wanting to come and have a team building weekend or week, so it's not just churches. It could be any kind of a group.
Okay. All right, well, that's kind of the mission of the camp here, and I'll put a link in the description. I'm sure they got a website.
Absolutely.
So we got a website. I'll put a link in the description of that, and I'll put it on the screen too as well. Contact information, how you can reach them if you're interested in coming. Now then, what we're here for is to fix these roads. And so, as I mentioned coming in, it's not that they've been neglected, it's just that they really need more work than just what the camp is able to do with just maintenance, grading or whatever. They've been doing a lot of grading to try to keep these roads in the shape. So what we're going to look at are areas like this, and this goes up to the RV park. And really this is just a total rebuild right here. The road has gotten so low in the middle that it's going to have to be built up with some red clay. And there's an area on the place here, the camp itself, where we're going to use as a borrow pit, pull some dirt out. I'm going to rebuild this totally up to that white, going that way and up the top of the hill. And I'm going to move most of the water coming down this way to that side and the rest of it over here and create a ditch to come around down through here. And that gives me an opportunity really at this point to walk down here to the lake and take a look at that. And so that water is coming down through here and crossing here. I've got to figure out how to either keep it over there long enough to get it in the culvert to go across, or bring a culvert across right here over into this area. But then it's got to go across the road again there. So that's going to take some thinking and some planning to figure out what that is. But this is the lake, and obviously there's no water in it, or much water.
We're draining down, we're doing beach maintenance, so we'll have our beach, will be fully new sand and everything on the beach for this new season. So got beach maintenance going on there, that's why the water is down, and there's the Baptist, or the baptizing area is just around the curve there. In front of that cross.
Yeah.
We're redoing that too, so we're gonna have new sand in that area.
So we're
building new concrete steps going down into it.
So there's the steps and the area go down in for baptizing there into the lake. So. All right, let's look at some more of it, and I'll give you another peek at it. All right, just for reference, we were right there just a minute ago, and this is another area. That road we just looked at was going to the RV park, which doesn't get the traffic that this does. This is the main road that goes to all the cabins and the meal hall and everything else back in here. So this is a big area that's got the problems, got to be fixed. What I'm thinking here too is another rebuild. The center of the road has gotten too low. There's a water line over here on the right side that would have to be dealt with. So we'll build this up and re-ditch that side over there and bring it down to this point right here, and then we've got to get it across the road. There are a couple culverts on the property here. We're going to look at those and see if those are usable to where we can get that water across the road, and we're going to go look at some other places. Okay, we found a couple of culverts here that's on the property we're going to be able to use. These were built for like a graded crossing. If you see that standing at the bottom there, that's actually made to turn up and have concrete formed on both sides so that water would run down in the culvert and out. But I think those are usable. They're on site and they're free. We're going to use them. I think the plan would be is to put those culverts in the road and turn them straight up, and then put some geofabric, maybe 3 or 4 layers of geofabric across the top of that grate right there. Because if you see, water just goes right through there into the culvert. So those are usable. We're definitely, we want to use them because those would be fairly expensive to try to buy those. Let's see what else we got. Another troubled area here, and there's been some work to try to get the water to shed over to there. This is up towards the camp office, and it's pretty rocky in there. I think I may just take that over a little bit farther there and create more of the road, usable road, and put the ditch farther over there, which would require taking out that hump of dirt and then kind of dressing this up down here on this end. But then there's another spot as we're going down to the lake. This gets a lot of water down through here. So as the water comes to here, there's a culvert, a tile here that goes across, but it's stopped up. So water's just basically running across it. And this right here will be interesting. Probably have to take that culvert out. Let me look at the end of it. It might be salvageable. We can clean it out. It's full of rock. Might be able to get that out and stand that up with the excavator and shake it and get that cleaned out, reuse that. Basically create a catch bowl up here to collect the water, flow it down, and put it in that culvert. This is a road that's used, so this has got to be fixed right here. We'll have to figure out that. Up here now, down there's where my truck's at, and the lake's back that way. This is going to be our borrow pit area. There's already been some dirt taken out here. I think the plan is to strip the topsoil going back probably to that telephone pole, strip that back and take what clay we need out of here to build the roads up. And then there's also a thought about taking and leveling this out back through there, making RV spots in this area too. That'll just be by the seat of our pants kind of thing there, to try to see what dirt we're going to need, what we got left as far as a hole. And then they got a football field up here as well, and a big nice place for the folks to play. And then up there at the top, we'll go up there, there's a, what do you call it? That's not an amphitheater.
It's like an outdoor theater kind of.
Yeah, we'll go up there and look at that. It's like an outdoor theater for the groups, and we'll take a look at that. All right, this is the theater, or amphitheater, I guess you call it. Well, I guess it's more like a theater, and called The Rock. And this is where they have their, what would you call it?
This is one of the outdoor meeting areas.
Yeah.
It's just one of those areas where they'll groups gather and have classes or worship
Okay.
or whatever.
All right, pretty neat little place. This is one of the camp dining halls, and originally there was different churches come in and built cabins. Now the cabins are owned by the camp, and so there's 4 of those cabins, right?
5.
5 cabins, and then this is a dining hall, and then there's another one up towards the front. Is that right?
Yeah, the big dining hall is up at the
Okay.
top side. Yeah.
All right. Well, those are the few projects that we're looking at doing. Probably, I don't know, week after next maybe. But anyway, we've got that kind of figured out, and what I'm planning on doing is bringing the dozer, the 308 excavator, skid steer, the packer, and the dump truck. And within those 3 days here that I'm gonna be working, should be able to get a lot of this done. Should be able to get a good bit of this done and get the roads fixed where they can use it. We're gonna do a little bit of a drone flight now, flying over the camp and maybe some of these troubled areas, and then we're off to look at the next job. right, we're at job site number 3 we're going to look at, and it's kind of an interesting deal. I've been at this property several times and rebuilt the steep road coming in, and I'm going to film that going back out, how steep it is. But I'm here today. They were going to get a double wide mobile home. I think it was a 4 or 5 bedroom mobile home. And so some folks come out and gave them an estimate of fixing the road to where the mobile home could get in here. And I'm just going to be honest, what they want to take out to try to get that mobile home in here is absolutely ridiculous. I've seen places they've put mobile homes that are on the side of a cliff, but let me just show you what it is. This is the road that's coming in, and I step around down here to the curve. Yeah, these couple, 2 or 3 trees right here, you know, it'd be good for those to be gone, and the road widens out a little bit right here, and probably this tree would be in the way. And then it comes around this hill and goes down a little place and then goes back down a really steep hill. But I want to show you how much of this bank that they proposed to take out to get that mobile home up here. And I just think it's excessive. I think it's really aggravates me when people are fixing to be taken advantage of, so to say. So that's the road that comes in I just mentioned. Let me show you the line where they want to take all this that there. So I'm gonna walk right through here what they're saying they need to take out in order to get that mobile home up here. So if you see that orange line, we're talking about all the way back up into here, into this tree right here, and it gets worse. All this back up into here. So they're saying all of that bank has to come off to get that up through there. And then they told me the price they was going to have to pay to get that done. It's ridiculous. Based on the cost of widening this road, so to say, to get that mobile home in here, and some issues with the mobile home companies they've kind of aggravated with, they've kind of gone away from the idea of that. And we'll walk up here and look at it. The plan now is to look at clearing out an area, trees, and building a little driveway to put in a stick-built home. So the driveway would come up through here, basically where this existing little trail road is, and come up here to the top of this little knoll and clear off some trees and build a house pad up here. So now we're up on top of the little hill there, and it's not far. My truck's right there. Come up here on the top of the hill, and they'd build a stick-built home up here on this little knoll. And basically they want to remove all of the really large trees that would, you know, potentially come a chance of blowing down on the house. You know, that's probably the biggest one right there. So what I've done is kind of figured how many trees there are here that need to come down, and then basically figure out what the size of the pad needs to be. You know, based on the trees that are going to come out and the house pad that needs to be built here, these are some pretty big trees. It'll take quite a bit of chainsaw work. I'm figuring 4 to 5 days to do that, which is a whole lot less money than they were quoted to do all the work it was to get the mobile home up here. That takes care of really the estimate on this job site. I do want to take you down into a little pond that we rebuilt, and I'll tell you the story about that when we get down there. I'm back down here to the lower part of the property now, and the property owner and I were walking up through this road right here, and she'd like to have a pond somewhere on the property, just to have some fish in, just to have a, you know, a nice little pond. And about right here is where we were walking, and I looked over and saw this dam, which it's a lot bigger now because of the work I did after I noticed it. But there was a dam there, and there was probably some 15 or 20-year-old trees growing in the bowl of this pond. And I said, well, actually, you've got a pond. We just need to fix it. So she hadn't noticed that. But what I did was come in here. The pond was real shallow, and it needed to be deeper, and it obviously wasn't holding water. So what I tried to figure out is why it wasn't holding water. And the soil in the bottom of it was just real poor, and it was real shallow. So I got to checking and looking, and I started scraping off the garbage, back, so to say, leaves, sticks, small trees, getting the bigger trees out. And about probably a foot and a half underneath where I started getting the dirt, I found a layer of plastic, which told me that when they built this pond, it wasn't holding water either. So they tried to fix it with a heavy mill plastic, and that obviously didn't work with rocks and stuff in it. And in fact, they had tried to line the existing dam here that they'd built and tried to line it. Basically what happened was, as I was digging down, they never got all of the topsoil and the organic material, so to say, out of the bowl of the pond when they originally built it. Now, who knows how long ago it was built and what they were trying to build it with, but that was the case. So what I had to do was come in and I lowered that. It's pretty deep in there. And then I re-cored this dam just to make sure it wouldn't leak. And so it's re-cored over there from where that spillway is over to about right in here. All the dirt for the core come from where I dug the basement for the house. So we got rid of the basement dirt and fixed the pond at the same time. She is having a little bit of issues with or was with the water leaking out, and this bag of stuff right here is bentonite. It's material that's used to help seal up ponds. The intent was, I think we bought 3 bags of that. The intent was, when I got the pond shaped up and fixed like I was going to take those 3 bags of bentonite and work all that in all the way around the pond to seal it off before it got rain. But the day that I got that pond finished, it started raining and didn't quit for a while. And because of that, the pond filled up. So then that took away our opportunity to put that bentonite in there the way I wanted to. So they just been working it in around the bank to kind of seal it up. And for a spillway, what I did was just took a 4-foot cut out of the side of it there and made a riprap spillway coming off down into here. That's going to take care of this job. Let's go look at another one. We've made it to the 4th job today. Let's take a look at it, and this one is going to be a challenge. This is the road we just come off was steep. This is even steeper, so we've got to figure out something on this one. Come into the property here, it kind of curves around to the left here, and where we're going is up on top. And this is Tim Hargrove's property. You met him in an earlier video when I was digging the water line. He came in and we talked a little bit about this property. So he's called me, come back for an estimate, and man, this is going to be tough. The property line is essentially just right over there on the other side of those first row of trees. So wow, it's going to be, it's almost impossible to put a proper switch back in here unless you turned and went back underneath the hill here to the right. So this is what he has for now, driveway. Somebody cut this in for him, and you can just see all the wash on it. It's just a nightmare to try to navigate this one. This right here is extremely steep. So anyway, let's walk up here to the top of the hill. There's a car here. I guess that's his car. We'll walk up here top of the hill and see. Anyway, I'll meet with him and be back in just a minute. Walked on through the curved part. Now this is the upper part. That is about the same grade as the one we just left, but coming up into it, coming this curve right here, problem is when you make this curve, you lose your momentum to try to get up this hill. So there'll be a lot of, with that curve there'll be a lot of spin out in there trying to climb this would almost, from this area right here down to where my truck is, almost would have to be concreted to be manageable. But you know, there's another route, the property that we're going to, the house site's up here, and he owns this property all the way around. You know, ideally the best thing to do is go right along the edge of this brow all around, come up on the back side, but that would be expensive, cutting all those trees out of there and grading the road out this way. Let's see what we're going to do. All right, Tim's made it up here. He's a huffing and a puffing. What's wrong, Tim? It's steep, ain't it?
My 4-wheel drive.
Oh, folks, that camera's not doing that hill justice. That's a nice one. So we're both going to catch our breath, and then we're going to go on up to the top of the hill. Well, we're up to the top of the hill now. We both got our breath so we can talk. What we're going to do is, there's going to be, what is the house size?
62 by 30.
62 by 30 house size. So we'll probably make the pad 10 foot extra on the back, and of course the sides are just going to daylight out So we'll build that pad up in here in this area somewhere. And then long after that, he'll have the house in here. So I think we're gonna look at putting in the water line as well. So stay tuned for that. We'll see if we get the job. That's undecided. We have made it to the next property, and we're not gonna be able to tell much from the roadside view of what the work is to be done. But I think it's a 8 acre, if I remember right, tractor property here. And we'll walk up the road a little bit. You can see that it's been, I don't know if you'd call that select clearing or not. They've left some pines in there and taken everything else out. Probably the best thing to do on this one is to fly it with the drone. And I want to show you in the plat map that the property owner sent me here, kind of give us an idea of what we're looking at. Where my truck is sitting, I was just at just a minute ago, let me walk back down there, is the easement on the right side of the property. And then if you see up there in the distance, there's a driveway. So that'll be the other boundary of this property on the left side. And it kind of widens out in the back. Let me set this camera down here and show you where how it lays. All right, so this is the piece of property right here. And this is where the truck's sitting right here on this easement. And that's that easement that goes up to the right side of the property. And then you go up the road here that I'm sitting on as far as the county road. And then that's where that driveway was. And it goes this way. So the property we're looking at to do the clearing on is this one right here. So hopefully you can see all that. And what I'm going to do is take the drone up, and I'm believing the property lines are going to be defined by some clearing, maybe. But what we'll do is go up and take a look at this area, see what kind of trees are in here to be cleaned. I'm probably going to walk up through there in a little bit and take a look at it as well. So here we go with the drone. Okay, down there in the bottom right hand part of the screen, you see my truck sitting there, and that road that it's sitting on is the easement that runs along the right side of the property that I showed on the map. And I'm going to stick in the corner here a copy of that map so you can kind of get a reference point. And then all the way over to the left side bottom of the screen, that is the other property's driveway there. So the area that we are looking at clearing and working in, and I'm going to fly kind of right through the middle of it. And then so what you see to the right and to the left on the screen there is what we would be working in. You see all those single pine trees standing in there. So I guess you would call it a select clearing of the property. And we're going to fly right through the middle of it. That's interesting right there. I don't know what that is right there in the middle. Kind of fly over that and take a look. I don't know if that's a rocky area or what that is, or a hole or gully or what. I don't know. Let's go back up, get some more altitude and fly over it. You see that defined line of trees in the back? I'm pretty much thinking that's going to be the back side of the property. That driveway over to your left side is going to be the boundary on the right, or the left side, I mean. And we'll spin around here and take a look. All that area right there in the camera, I believe that's going to be on the property that we're looking at. Looks like there's a pretty significant ridge going through there. Then there's a group of trees right here in the middle. Not sure what that is. It's hardwoods. It may be a big gully or something in there. Actually, I don't know, is that a pond? I don't know what that is. Maybe an old pile of I don't think it's a pond. Afraid to go too far down in there. That might be an old brush pile or burn pile or something. Anyway, I'm gonna get out of that because I don't want to crash the drone in it. Let's get us some altitude back up here again, spin around to the right. So I believe all that property right there in the screen is on the property that we're looking at. On your left side there and kind of the bottom left, that's going to be that easement again. And I think once we, even as I'm saying this, once I have the map on the screen, oriented in the position starting from the front there, I think we'll be able to tell a whole lot more about the boundaries. But I'm pretty sure everything in your middle screen is on the property that needs to be worked on. And we're flying again back towards the front of the property where I'm parked at. So we'll swing around here in a big curve, and you'll see the truck down there in the coming up in the bottom left part of the screen. Now it'll be in the middle of the screen. Let's get a big, let's go up in our air and get all the altitude we can get.
Maximum flight altitude reached.
All right, we are at 600. We are at 650 feet right there. That's the altitude height that I've got set for it. And with now then we can kind of see what the edge of the property looks like. That you see in the distance is Watts Bar Nuclear Plant. That's where they generate power on the river, Watts Bar Lake.
Maximum flight altitude reached.
Those are the cooling towers for the nuclear plant. Let's spin around here and bring it home, and then we're going to walk in there a little bit and check out and see what the ground looks like. Okay, let's take a walk up this easement here and see what we got in there. Best I can remember, the property owner talked about that there was stumps in there that needed to be cleared and basically grubbed up, get the ground clean. It's fairly steep, it looks like. I'm trying to find a good place to walk in there. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. It's been logged some time back, and all the tops and the trunks of the garbage trees were left, and they're just laying here on the ground. It's steep in spots. It's not really as steep as I thought it was going to be, at least in this area. But a lot of just cleanup. And here's the stumps that's left. Pretty good sized stump. It's probably a 12-inch stump. And there's another one. Pretty much the same. It's just pine trees that were harvested for pulpwood, and for whatever reason, I guess this younger growth, they just let this other grow up. There's a pretty good size one right there. It's a little bigger. That's probably 14, 16-inch stump. But I believe that's going to be what it looks like all the way back through there. And I'm going to walk a little bit more up here on the top of the hill and see what it looks like up on top. A lot of blackberry briars growing in here for sure. Be a lot of blackberries picked in here. And chiggers. Probably going to get loaded up on chiggers today. I'm sure the sun was probably in your eyes most of the time when I was trying to walk up through there. But that gives us an idea. Now I need to get on the phone this evening and talk with the property owner and kind of get a game plan what it is exactly she wants to do and what she wants it to look like when the work's done. There's a lot of stumps to be dug in here. And this is more of a job for Smith Works with that Cat 313. So Lindsay, why don't you bring that thing on up here and we'll do this job. This might be a bit much for the 308. Probably, maybe I need to go ahead and buy me a 313. Maybe that's what I need to do. Anyway, we'll get back to the truck here, and we got one more job to go look at today. Well, I'm pulling off that last estimate there, that job site I looked at, and I didn't get to record that one. I spent some time with that fellow running around on a side-by-side looking at some areas to clear the dozer. Basically, it boils down to a pad, maybe a 40 by 60 pad in a pretty level spot already. And then there's some farmland that he wants to clear the underbrush off of, and he's got a hunting spot back there that probably a day's worth of dozer work, maybe a day and a half worth of dozer work. So that one's on the schedule. He's already committed to that one, and that's going to take care of today's estimates. So I appreciate you hanging around with me, and I appreciate you hanging out with me today and riding along with these estimates that I've done, and hopefully we'll get most, if not all, those jobs. So mainly today's video was just a behind the scenes, so to say, spending the day with me to kind of see what I go through bidding jobs and running around getting all these done. Started early this morning, I guess around 8 o'clock, and it's 6 now, so I've spent about 10 hours riding around looking at these jobs. So God bless you, and I appreciate you watching. Stick around for the message if you will. All right, well, I appreciate you watching that video, and I hope you enjoyed that little tag along as I bid some jobs there and looked at them. And some of those jobs are already confirmed. We're still working on the process on the other ones. But I appreciate you sticking around for the message. I just want to mention for a minute here, I spent a few days after I did that, and I just finished up this house pad here, and actually I didn't finish it up alone. Davin with I Dig It 4 was here for 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and he helped me build this pad and actually done a good bit of the dozer work. He did a fantastic job doing that. And then we did a little bit more work digging a ditch for some folks, put in some irrigation water lines. So stick around for those videos. Those are going to be pretty good. Davin's a good guy. Really thankful that he come visit me for a few days there. We're going to have some good videos on my channel and on his channel as well. I hope you're familiar with his channel. If not, go check him out. I Dig It 4. He's a good guy and does a lot of mulching work, forestry mulching, and jobs like that. So you might enjoy that. Well, let's get to the message, and what we want to talk about today is our plans. And oftentimes in this life, we are set and determined to make our plans and to see and fulfill those plans no matter what. So in Proverbs chapter 16, verse 9, it says this: "A man's heart devises his own ways, but the Lord directs his steps." Meaning that we can, realistically, we can plan and we can do all the things that we want to do to make certain things happen. But listen, in the life of a Christian, we can make plans, and that's fine. That's totally fine for us to make plans. But we're subject to the Lord's direction. We ought to be sensitive to the Spirit of the Lord guiding us and directing us in the things that we do, so that we're in His will. Not in our will, but we're in His will. So if our plans are not lining up with His will, then there's going to be issues with that. We're going to struggle. There's going to be massive problems in our life, because God has a perfect will, and He wants our plans to line up with that. And they'll do that if we're trusting in Him. And verse 2 says this: "All the ways of a man are clean in his own eyes, but the Lord weighs the spirit." So what that's telling me is that no matter what my plans are, I can see that they're good and they're prosperous and they will do well, because I'm proud of my own plans and I want to see my own plans prosper. But listen to that again. It says all the ways of man are clean in his own eyes. So they're clean in my eyes, but it's that the Lord weighs the spirits, meaning that God is the true judge of our plans. God is the true judge of our purpose and our meaning in this world. So if we're placing our faith and trust in Him, we can be assured that He has His perfect will planned for our life, that we'll follow that, things will go well with us. So I hope this has been an encouragement to you, that our plans are to line up with Him. I guess I've said that a lot of times. I hope that you've gotten it by now. But you can never go wrong trusting in the Lord, because the Word tells us that He will never leave us and never forsake us. So I appreciate you sticking around for the message. I hope it's been an encouragement to you. I hope it strengthened you today in your walk with the Lord. And I sure appreciate you watching, and God bless.